again, if you see Saturday Night Fever, notice how well it's put together. It's also shot on a certain film that kind of created a glow effect of all the lights in the Space Odyssey 2001 club, which actually was a real club in Bay Ridge, later burned down, and other scenes throughout Brooklyn. It really brought a lot of New York to the surface, and it showed how dumb people get together and go, drinking and dancing every night in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. One horrible scene, though, and I always thought the casting of the woman that he fell in love with was a little off, but she, more and more I watched it, particularly last night, I realized how good she was. I don't know if she went on to do other things. Oz can tell me that. He knows everything. Oz is on 94 Rock right now as we speak. But there's a scene where the guy he's trying to get people's attention. He says, "Geez, if you were married to a guy and you were pregnant with him, would you have an abortion or would you marry the guy?" And she looks at him. They just walked out of a White Castle, and she looks at him. "Who do I have to marry?" He says, "Well, you'd have to marry me." And she says, "Well, I'd get an abortion." And she just walks away. And he says, "Oh, thank you very much." So this was just building up more and more and more against him. So if you get a chance, check it out. Once again, watch it uncut, because all these movies that you see on TV, not only do they cut out the language and the scenes, but they also cut out scenes from the movies that you never see. You never see at all, because they have to fit it within the time frame in which is allowed. So anyway, just a little description. I don't do that much. Some people criticize me for being a movie critic here, but it is a part of our lives. It was a movie made eons ago, and a lot of you are around my age range, and you probably remember it yourself. I understand that there was a dance club that resembled the Space Odyssey 2001 club in the movie, and it mimicked that, like many clubs did around the world, for that matter, with the colorful dance floor. I hear that was the dance club up there at the Watertown bowling alley on out of Washington Street. I wish I had seen that, because when I first moved up here, the bowling alley, 1, was still open, and 2, they had that club there. But I wish I had seen the floor. Apparently, the story was it wasn't working or whatever, and they shipped it somewhere else. I would love to have seen them, but nonetheless. 755-1240 is the number. 755-1240 is the number. So I put on the radio today, and I hear the report from CBS News, of course. And it's amazing, the dynamics of AM 1240. We don't have Fox News over here. Our crosstown competitors do. It's more, I guess you could say, it fits perfectly with Republican radio. Here, however, it doesn't. We always talk about, Mayorkas and this and that. Oh, boy, look what Joe Biden's doing now. Today, CBS News was raving about how the flux of people coming over the southern border has been cut in half based on estimates. And you've been hearing it all day. So this whole complicit relationship between the media and what's going on. So say if that's true. Say if the influx of illegals has been cut down based on the projections, because Title 42 has been erased or is ended. It still doesn't matter. It's if you're bleeding to death, you're bleeding to death. And I question whether or not it's accurate. But it's amazing. It's amazing how Joe Biden and his administration are in cahoots with the media, for sure. They'll make up anything. Hi, you're on the air.
Okay, Glenn.
Hi, you there?
All right, I got you on the air now.
Yes. What's going on?
Hey, I think your timeline's off a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think our age difference is like when Saturday Night Fever came out, I was 12.
It was 1978. How old were you in 1978?
Well, 12 to 13. I thought it came out in 77, but maybe it came out in 78.
All right. Well, okay, I'm going to look it up right now. Why? Wait, how old are you?
I'm 58. I just turned 58.
Okay, well, I'm 2 years older than you. I'm 60.
Okay, so I would have put you at 14, not at 17. There's a real big difference, like, as far as...
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, and it came out, let's see, 17, 14, 15, do the math. Probably, no, I was at least 15. I was born in 1962.
Okay.
Right. But regardless, even if I was 18, I was still a virgin. I didn't know any of that stuff, what they were doing in the back seat of that car. I was clueless. Or the scene in the strip joint, which happened to be right next to the dance hall. That was interesting. Boy.
Yeah, like I saw that, and I saw all the movies around that time that were, at the movies on HBO.
Oh, really?
So it was like seeing it at home, and it was kind of cool. But you were talking about the club, the disco up next to the bowl.
Yeah.
It was called Twilight 22.
That's what. Yeah. Did you text me that? Someone texted me that.
No, I didn't text
Yeah.
you
Someone.
that.
I was wondering what that was. Twilight 22.
And that's where I get that. Like when I was 12 or 13, I was in bars by 15, 16. Just I was in the business.
Right.
But I wasn't at 12.
Well.
So I never. Now there was after that there was another club that was in there, and then there was another club called the Max that was Freddie Courier owned it.
Really?
And it was a 16 and above club or something like that. It was like non-alcoholic.
Wait. Are you saying Fred Courier from Facillo Auto Mall and now called Wally's? Woohoo! That Fred Courier?
Freddie owned it. Yeah, I did business with him up there, and I was in there with Dan.
Wow.
When that was called the Max.
How old was Fred at the time? Like 18?
How old was Fred?
Yeah. He had to be really young to own his own club at that time.
Well, he'd already been at that point. Fred moved up quick. He was before he was in the car business, he was a manager at McDonald's for a few years, and I think he's 4 or 5 years older than I am anyway.
Right.
But I was in there young, and he was a young businessman. He had it going on.
Yeah. Right.
So it was pretty nice club at the time. But I don't think he would have gone in and tore up if there was lit floor.
Right.
I never heard that before. Could be true, but I never saw it.
Yeah, no, they said they had the same floor as that they did in the movie that's Saturday Night Fever. So
I tried to get
not
it
uncommon back in the day.
You're referring to. I don't think it was. Maybe the Duff would know. He lived up there. I'm sure he'd been into it.
Right.
I could see him in a big collar out there on the dance floor. But that was a little bit before our time, as in yours and mine.
Right.
But,
Right. Of course, I didn't live up here at the
I
time.
thought it was. No. But I'm just saying that the whole disco era hit That's what I'm saying. To say you were in '78, you were 14 or 15.
Right. And
That's still before you're going out and doing anything.
The movie itself actually resurrected disco. It had already died, but the soundtrack for Saturday Night Fever came out, and most of it, of course, was the Bee Gees. But they had other bands on there, like the Tramps and others. But to this day, it's still one of the highest selling albums of all time. That and Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Tremendous movie, great music. Some people panned it because there were a bunch of boneheads, just going out dancing every Saturday night. But it was a lot more than that, in my opinion. So anyway.